Liv Morgan shocked the WWE Universe once again when she defeated Stephanie Vaquer at WrestleMania 42 to capture the Women's World Championship in one of the most emotional and physically brutal matches of the entire event. For fans watching at home, the victory already felt massive because it marked another defining moment in Liv Morgan's incredible rise to the top of WWE. But what many people didn't fully understand at the time was just how much pain and physical damage Morgan was dealing with before she even stepped into the ring at WrestleMania. What looked like storyline chaos on WWE television turned into a very real injury scare that nearly changed everything heading into the biggest night of her career. The build-up to WrestleMania 42 between Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer had already become deeply personal. Week after week on WWE Raw, both women pushed each other further and further. Their rivalry wasn't built around simple insults or championship ambitions anymore. It evolved into a war filled with sneak attacks, backstage fights, emotional confrontations, and moments that constantly blurred the line between storyline and reality. Stephanie Vaquer, known by many fans as La Primera, consistently targeted Morgan with aggressive attacks, trying to weaken her physically and mentally before WrestleMania arrived. Then came the backstage incident that completely changed the atmosphere surrounding the feud. On the April 6 episode of Raw, Liv Morgan was backstage with fellow The Judgment Day member Roxanne Perez. Morgan referred to Perez almost like her student or protege, calling her "my little prodigy," while discussing the chaos surrounding Finn Balor's removal from the Judgment Day. Inside the Judgment Day clubhouse, the group's private backstage space, Morgan and Perez were having what seemed like a normal conversation before everything suddenly spiraled out of control. Stephanie Vaquer appeared unexpectedly and attacked from behind. According to Morgan, that had become the pattern throughout their feud. Vaquer constantly relied on surprise attacks, trying to catch her off guard whenever possible. But this particular moment became dangerous almost instantly. When Vaquer shoved Morgan from behind, the impact was much stronger than intended. Morgan crashed directly into Roxanne Perez, and their heads collided violently. The result was horrifying. Morgan immediately developed a massive hematoma on her forehead, creating a huge bump that quickly became visible. Even worse, the blood from the injury drained downward into her face, causing severe bruising around her eyes and leaving her with 2 black eyes just days before WrestleMania 42. Reports later suggested that both Morgan and Roxanne Perez were placed into concussion protocol following the collision, creating serious concern behind the scenes about whether either woman would be medically cleared in time. For a brief moment, fans genuinely feared that WWE's WrestleMania plans could completely collapse. Morgan had earned her championship opportunity by winning the Women's Royal Rumble earlier in the year, and the anticipation surrounding her match with Stephanie Vaquer was enormous. The possibility that the injury could force her out of the event added real tension to the situation. Head injuries in wrestling are never taken lightly, especially when symptoms include visible trauma, swelling, and bruising. Yet despite all the uncertainty, Liv Morgan refused to let the injury stop her. Speaking later during an appearance on Watch Geno TV while promoting SummerSlam 2026, Morgan opened up about the incident in detail and almost laughed about how chaotic the entire experience became. In classic Liv Morgan fashion, she turned a painful and frightening moment into part of her larger story, embracing the madness rather than hiding from it. She explained how Stephanie Vaquer had invaded the Judgment Day clubhouse despite not being part of the faction, describing it almost like a betrayal of sacred territory. Morgan also confidently reminded everyone that she ultimately defeated Vaquer at WrestleMania, claiming she was simply better than her rival. Even while discussing the injury, Morgan maintained the same confidence and swagger that has made her such a compelling character in WWE. What really stood out was how casually she described competing at WrestleMania with severe bruising and a giant hematoma on her forehead. Instead of portraying herself as a victim, Morgan almost wore the injury like a badge of honor. She even called the situation iconic, a word that perfectly captures her personality and mindset. That attitude reflects why so many fans have connected with her over the years. Liv Morgan doesn't just survive difficult moments, she transforms them into defining parts of her identity. Her WrestleMania victory instantly became even more meaningful once fans fully understood what she had been dealing with physically. Winning the Women's World Championship under normal circumstances would already have been a career-changing moment, but doing it while injured elevated the achievement to another level entirely. It added realism and emotional depth to the story, making her triumph feel earned in a way that fans genuinely respected. The match itself represented the culmination of years of growth for Liv Morgan. Since her earliest days in WWE, she had often been viewed as an underdog, someone with charisma and potential, but not always treated like a guaranteed main event player. Over time, however, she transformed herself into one of WWE's biggest stars through persistence, emotional storytelling, and her ability to connect with audiences on a personal level. Now, standing at the top of the women's division as champion, Morgan finds herself carrying more momentum than ever before. But alongside her wrestling success, she has also begun openly discussing another passion that continues growing in her life: acting. During the same interview, Morgan revealed that while wrestling will always remain her primary focus, she is very interested in exploring acting opportunities outside WWE. She made it clear that professional wrestling is still her true home, even saying she plans to wrestle until the wheels fall off. That statement alone perfectly captures her dedication to the business. Morgan sees herself as a lifer in WWE, someone who wants to continue performing for as long as physically possible. At the same time, she expressed gratitude toward WWE for allowing her to expand her horizons and explore opportunities beyond the wrestling ring. In recent years, WWE has become increasingly supportive of performers branching into movies, television, and other entertainment industries, and Morgan appears eager to test herself creatively in those areas as well. What makes Morgan particularly interesting as a potential actress is that much of what makes her successful in WWE already translates naturally into acting. She knows how to perform emotionally, how to connect with an audience, and how to make viewers care about her story. Whether she's playing the underdog, the chaotic rebel, or the confident champion, Morgan brings authenticity to her performances that feels genuine. Still, for now, her primary focus remains firmly on her championship reign. Becoming Women's World Champion at WrestleMania 42 completely changes her position within WWE. Champions are no longer the hunters, they become the hunted. Every superstar in the division now has a target on Morgan's back, and speculation has already begun regarding who will step up as her first major challenger. The possibilities are endless. Stephanie Vaquer could demand a rematch after the brutal feud they shared. Roxanne Perez's growing role within the Judgment Day could create unexpected tension. Other top stars from Raw may emerge looking for championship opportunities. Whoever eventually challenges Morgan will walk into a situation where the champion has already proven she can endure incredible pain and still succeed under pressure. That resilience may become the defining characteristic of Liv Morgan's reign moving forward. Fans now see her differently after WrestleMania 42. She's no longer just the energetic fan favorite trying to prove herself. She's a champion who fought through injuries, survived one of the most dangerous rivalries in WWE, and still emerged victorious on the biggest stage possible. The story of the hematoma injury will likely follow her career for years because it represents something larger than just one backstage accident. It symbolizes toughness, determination, and the willingness to sacrifice everything for success. Wrestling fans have always admired performers who battle through adversity, and Morgan's situation instantly placed her into that conversation. As WWE continues building toward future events like SummerSlam 2026, Liv Morgan now stands at the center of the women's division. She has the championship, the fan support, the storyline momentum, and the confidence that comes from surviving one of the toughest periods of her career. And if her recent comments are any indication, she's only getting started.